Guys, in today's video I want to be talking about black pill in particular, and I guess we'll touch up on all the pills and my thoughts on them, and mainly we'll be talking about why it's all bullshit. And it might sound, oh yeah, it's obvious, or you might be a devout black pill and be like, no bro, you're a chop, just stop coping. But if you are, mainly this video is for people who believe in black pill. I would like to change your mind on it, essentially. Start off with the fact that it mainly works as a hate outlet nowadays, even though it started off as a sort of self-improvement, trying to look better sort of thing. What it is now is there are these attractive dudes, chicks, that are narcissists essentially, and they only post their face. They don't really offer any sort of comedic. It's mainly just thirst traps, not even with their bodies, because like that's slutting around. You're just desperate for attention at that point. You just post your face, you look good, people start glazing you. And so they're narcissists just in general, because they know they look good, they do that. Just in the life they are. But that gets even worse because online they're treated as actual good people. Not even that, it's like they're given value just purely for their looks. And I'll be honest, I can admit that obviously looks will play a part in your life. That's a pretty obvious truth. However, the extent to which looks will play a part in your life is what's really blown out of proportion nowadays. Realistically, if you're not facially deformed, if you're not overweight, so your face is de-bloated and you're lean, which is a pretty intuitive thing. It's not like being lean is something LooksMaxes came up with. Getting in shape has always been something that makes you look better. Another thing is facial hygiene, obviously, getting your skin treated, brushing your teeth, just any sort of that obviously will make you more attractive.
Adrian.
And grooming your hair, your facial hair, your normal hair and whatnot. All of these have been around for the longest and they're very easy to do. And if you genuinely do not have like some sort of disability where you're like missing your jaw, most people can be at least a 6 if they just follow these very simple soft LooksMaxes, as they call them. And so at that point, I truly believe once you're at around 5 or 6, your life won't get hindered by your looks. I know that if you are really, really bad looking, which at that point, most of those cases are not from your actual genetics, they're more caused by lack of hygiene, obviously, and just not taking care of yourself at all. That's when you look really unpresentable, and that's when you really get in those subhuman, as they call them, which is like an insane term as well. And that's when you get to those levels where people will genuinely try and avoid conversation with you because of your looks. But at that point, is it more because of your looks, or is that because you look like, I'm sorry to put it bluntly, like a freak? And these things are not new. This is like very, very basic understanding of the world. If you look presentable, people will be able to engage with you. That's very simple. And if you're on a very high side of attractiveness, you will probably receive what's called the halo effect, where people treat you better than you actually deserve to be treated. However, my problem is that not that black pill acknowledges that those things exist, it's that black pill makes the halo effect worse. And that's bad, because most people who follow black pill and most people who enforce those black pill standards are never going to reap the benefits of actually experiencing the halo effect, because realistically, unless you get surgery or you are in the top 10%, not even top 10, like top 5, top 2% of looks, you're probably just going to be perceived as normie. And like, that's nothing wrong with that. You can live your life totally good. And honestly, I would say it's not even that hard to find someone attractive that might not be like a supermodel level attractiveness. Like, most people experience attraction based on actions and general experiences with someone, as opposed to their pure looks. Because unless you genuinely only feel attracted to the most attractive person in the room, you are, I'm sorry to say, a very shallow person, and you probably have no soul. That's about it. And even those people who only talk about attractiveness, I've noticed they don't really follow those standards either. Especially with the hookup culture and all of that. They say one thing, but then they do another thing. You know what I'm saying? It's because those people, as I said already, are shallow. They don't really have a soul, nor do they have standards. What they do want to seem like is someone with standards and a soul, so they pretend like, oh yeah, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But it's pure blabber. If you only feel attracted towards the most attractive person in the room, you are a very shallow person. And so, let's say you are a 6 out of 10, or maybe a 7 out of 10, and you're thinking to yourself, I must ascend, I must bone mash, I must get fucking surgery and whatnot. Is that really who you want to be attracting? Because, at least for me, personally, and I think I'm a relatively sane person, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I believe it's not, but I would rather be valued for my company and my personality, as beta as it sounds, beta, as blue-pilled as it sounds, but like, at the end of the day, I would rather have someone that values me for like, the time we spend together as opposed to just my face. And you cannot tell me that. It's like, yeah, you can view life as this like brutal, like black-pilled reality where I must make as much as I can, I must look as best as I can, and that's the only way someone will find me attractive. But like, that's a very depressing way to view things. And if you're not necessarily succeeding in those parameters, that's very easy to get yourself depressed, like properly depressed. And so the problem with black pill is that we reinforce those narcissist standards that will only benefit the top 5% of the best looking people and will only harm the rest of people. And most people who, as I've said already, make those fucking edits of Marlon, fucking collab all day long, and like, they are not the best looking people realistically. And if they think they are, it's because their egos are inflated. And all they do is like, they have the filters on and they just sit there like, and yeah, you're just kind of screwing yourself over at that point. That's my point, what I want to make. Next thing is, the black pill reinforces that in order to be attractive, you must look a certain way, which isn't true. As it sound like, even though this is sounding like cope, but everyone has their types, and if you don't look necessarily attractive to one person, that doesn't mean you do not look attractive at all. Like, personally, I have certain features that might not be considered conventionally attractive, like let's say my bulbous nose, but that doesn't mean I am now just subhuman. It doesn't mean if you have a bulbous nose, you're subhuman. People online, I mean, I'm using this as if it's a fucking study, but you can see online that people have their preferences. And even with yourself, just think about who you find attractive, who you found attractive previously. Think about, has there never been someone with conventionally unattractive features that you kind of liked? Like, let's say a person with recessed canthal tilt, sorry. Like, there are certain people that actually works on better than they would have if they just look like the most like fucking, Roblox copy and paste fucking MAGA face. Like, some people just look with like an unconventionally attractive unconventionally attractive feature. That's what makes us look unique. And like, it sounds like I'm coping, but being unique is what's really gonna make you stand out. Because tell me, whose face do you remember better? Pedro Pascal, who has, let's say, he's also got like a bit of a big nose, his eyes are sort of recessed, I'm not saying that he's the most attractive person in the world, but he certainly has a very, very large fan base. And like, way larger, I mean, obviously he's a very successful actor, but I don't think it's insane to say, sorry, I'm sick. I don't think it's insane to say that more females find him attractive as opposed to someone like, I don't know, Zeta. That's a niche looks maxing reference. It's not very niche, but you have to be in that community to know who it is. I might put a picture of him. but it's mainly dudes who don't look the best that make those edits of like the best, most like PSL perfect guys. Because sometimes I've noticed guys are very stubborn, and they believe that whenever you try to argue with them, you're just like straight up coping, and they won't listen to you at all. And they like sort of reinforce their delusions because they find it very hard to believe that someone with an unconventionally attractive feature might actually be attractive to someone. However, in reality, standing out is what's actually going to get you remembered. Because tell me, like, unless you are chronically online, if you are chronically online, do not answer the question. But if you're not chronically online, how many of these fucking TikTok looks maxes can you actually differentiate? Because I'll be honest, when they do those fucking intros with like a chud, and then they have 1,000 of those, the most attractive dudes you've ever seen, they all end up kind of looking the same. Because it's the same hollow cheeks, same high set cheekbones, same puzzle kintle to the eyes, same eyebrows, blah, 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 blah. And I might be exaggerating a bit, but you know what I'm saying. Having unique features is what's going to make you actually be remembered. Next is that I believe, I've been reading too much manga lately, but nowadays looks maxing and black pill is actually just used to bully people, because it's always the faceless accounts that are there to call you a fucking moid or a foid or chopped or subhuman, and they tell you that it's over, yada yada yada. But does it really matter if you look bad? Why do I have to be told that? Like, unless it's something that I could improve on, like let's say I've got a horrible patchy beard and someone tells me, bro, you should shave that. Cool, because I could actually improve that. But like, let's say someone just says, bro, your jaw's so recessed. Like, okay. And it's not really necessary, but a lot of people just use that black pill and, bro, I'm just being real with you, chopped. Like, who does that help? Does that help you? That helps you because you feel better by comparison, but how does that help me, you know? And I feel like nowadays it has even led to a lot of the copes getting worse. Even though this video could be considered cope, like, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but the wabi-sabi trend, it's kind of I'll be honest, it's kind of been blown out of proportion. Essentially, it's referencing the episode from King of the Hill, where I think the guy's name is Bobby Hill, the kid. He talks about wabi-sabi and how it's a concept where the imperfections is what makes us beautiful, which, yeah, that's true. However, that has been taken to a certain extent, which, like, someone with an actual facial deformity will call that wabi-sabi, and like, it's kind of like you gotta have some sort of attractiveness to you to actually be considered attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a painful truth, but sadly, just like the way humans are programmed, if you are deformed, you are likely going to be looked down upon. And it's not cool, but that's human nature. And the wabi-sabi thing is kind of getting into copious territories. But I understand why. Because the black pill has created this just hate pit where if you don't look perfect, you're instantly unattractive. So people with some sort of conventionally unattractive features, they just want to get some sort of recognition. And I guess it's sort of wholesome, but it's getting to copious ranges in my opinion. Next is I think it ruins expectations for people, because they go online and they see the most beautiful people you ever know, obviously, like they just like copy and paste perfect, and they'll believe that's like realistic, but in reality a lot of it is filters, a lot of it is makeup, a lot of it is surgery, a lot of it is just like the most attractive people getting concentrated into your feed and you having to compare yourself to them, which is not healthy, obviously. But But what it also reinforces, I've noticed, is that it raises people's standards to unnecessary ranges. Like nowadays, I think it's a thing that's sort of unspoken between friend groups, but it's definitely there. I've definitely noticed it, and you could not tell me you haven't noticed it yourself. Is that people are unwilling to admit someone's attractive because they might not be as attractive as someone online. Like, let's say there's a girl that you like, but she's like, she might even look less attractive than you, but like you still find her attractive, which is completely normal. You don't have to be the most attractive person in the world to be found attractive. But you won't feel comfortable admitting that you find her attractive because, oh bro, she's sharp. What do you mean, bro? Oh, whatever makes you happy. Shut the fuck up. Like, genuinely. And this goes for both girls and guys. I've seen both genders do it. It's a very close-minded and a very mean thing to do. Very soulless thing to do. A word I've been using a lot through this video. And next up, what I believe is that it is just another way to scam people. And mainly guys, because guys, I feel like, are way more influenceable with this sort of shit online. But it started off, obviously, the pill. It started off really popping off when, but like back in 2022 with Andrew Tate. It was a red pill at first. And the guys were sold that they have to be these fucking alphas, they have to be the most terrifying, most rich, whatever. This sort of bullshit that was sold. And now people realize, like, I guess that's sort of retarded in a way. And they've sort of moved on, and now it's all about looks. And now people are selling you supplements. Oh bro, you gotta get this debloat. Oh bro, you gotta get this skincare. Oh bro, you gotta get this sort of fucking hair product. Oh bro, you gotta get my course. Oh bro, you gotta get my my fucking tanning regimen. You gotta get my peptides. You gotta get on steroids. The only way you'll find a girlfriend is if you get on steroids. And it's not even for you to be strong. It's not even for you to feel like go out and compete in bodybuilding. No bro, just steroids so you grow 5 millimeters of bone. Bro. Are we dead ass? Are we this insecure about our looks? And I get it, bro. That's what's been reinforced online. Like, that's why people get to this point. And, yeah, it's another just way to sell you shit that you don't really need. Genuinely. Make sure you're lean. Make sure that your diet is good so your face doesn't flame up and, like, you don't get breakouts. Groom your hair. Take care of your hygiene, and you're good. Genuinely, you're good. Develop personality, find hobbies, make sure that you're an enjoyable person to be around. Because even if you look the best, they'll only get you through the door. They'll only get you past that ice-breaking stage. But if you're an insufferable person, you will either only stay with the most shallow people you know, or you won't stay with any enjoyable people at all. I promise you that. And lastly, at the end of the day, shit you see online, never really link yourself to a pill or an ideology. Make sure that you stay an independent thinker, that you always value your individualism and what you believe in over what some people you might agree with believe in. Because it's a very slippery slope when, let's say, you and your friends online believe in one thing, and then they start saying another thing that you might not believe as much, but like you kind of have to stick with them, and it kind of just keeps de-escalating. There's like multiple examples like that. Like, this might be controversial, but like, you know, with some leftist policies, like, yeah, we should probably cap the limits of the billionaires and what, like, I don't know. But like, you could think of an example of like a leftist policy you might agree with. Like, let's say, oh yeah, we should stop private companies from taking up all the housing. That's a cool thing. But then motherfuckers will post Stalin on their profile picture, and they'll have a fucking sickle and a hammer like hanging in their wall, and they'll be talking about, oh, well, capitalism killed so many people in Africa and whatnot. Communism did the same thing, and it's literally like you get to it. I'm honestly a centrist, and I hate how people are like pretending that being a centrist is evil. No, I do not want to be aligned with an extremist ideology. Both communism, both leftism and right wing has led to countless deaths when reaching an extreme. And when you blindly follow political side, a pill, you're gonna reach to a point where you're bunched with extremists, and nothing good ever happens from extremism. Genuinely, extremism always leads to more bloodshed and pain than it leads to meaningful change. That's propaganda. When you're told that you have to do something crazy, you have to start a revolution, you have to go and fucking raid shops, that's extremism, and it's not leading to any meaningful change per se. That's really how you just rally up the public. That's a bit of a rant on the side from the black pill shit, but it's an example for how aligning yourself with an ideology fully, you can look at something and you can agree with certain principles, but make sure you never have an ideology more important than your own ideological system. Because without individualism, people become a mass that is just so easily controlled. And now with AI and like fabricated facts and fabricated videos, people are even more easily controlled than back in like the 60s when they just had like government mandated TV. I mean, I don't know if they had, I can't really fathom it. I can't grasp it. There's not really any studies based on who's more easily controlled, but at least online it seems like people are so vigorously defending something that doesn't even relate to them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, make sure to never use black pill or lookism as an excuse to bring someone else down. Like, as corny as it sounds, but like, what happened to kindness, man? What happened to like looking past someone's looks and actually trying to get to know them, you know? And I'm not even gonna say that you, like, in the dating world, you kind of have to be attracted to your partner, because otherwise that sort of leads to another range of issues where you kind of have to lie to yourself and your partner that you're actually attracted to them physically, and that can also be problematic. But like, the standards don't need to be that high, and you don't need to be bringing down people that might not look the best just for their looks, because that doesn't really improve their life, nor does it improve anyone else's life besides your made up ego. And so yeah, that's about it. I kind of didn't have an idea for this week's video, so this was a bit of a rant. Kind of want to do some other stuff, more script actually, next week. But yeah, hopefully I can keep up posting every week until we reach Mr. Beast levels and I get to start a civilization of my own. Alright, goodbye.